Good Sunday morning to you. Well, today I've got to start on the legs of the picnic table. I got two pieces of 8-foot 2x6 pressure treated. I had it cut down at 48 inches, and that's going to be for the legs. Here I cleaned up the platform here, installed some more bracing and put extra screws in it. The distance between here and here is exactly 10.5 inches. That's the way it was originally, so I wanted to keep the spacing the same. And then the legs, whatever angle this is the original angle that the legs will be on. So what I'm going to simply do is to take a sample scrap of 2x6 and stick it in here and mark it off here and cut it, and that'll be my template for the angle, because believe it or not, I'm not able to figure out angles on that little square thing I got, because I'm not sure what point I'm supposed to read it. I'm not a carpenter, as I said so many times before, so I do things a certain way. So anyways, I got one piece of 4 foot to go here, but the legs aren't 4 feet long. I measured their length originally when it was all together, and would you believe I didn't write it down? I think it's 31 inches, 36 inches, I don't even remember. So that's why I had those pieces cut over there at 48, and then I can put the angles on. Better too long than too short. So over here I did the same thing. I added some more bracing here, because what I want to do is to keep this distance 10.5 inches from here to here, and that's exactly what it is. I'm going to flip this thing down on the top now, upside down, so that I can start making the pieces for the cleats that go across here. These pieces here, there's 2 on each side, as I showed you in an earlier video. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to replace the entire top. The wood was good at this end, but on the inside, where it was in contact with this old non-pressure treated wood, and this is not pressure treated either, this is what I had told you I put in here in 1985, well, it's rotted inside here, about halfway through. So these pieces here came off of the center portion of the top. So I'm going to have to replace the entire top. I'm going to use what was in here before, Douglas fir, and I'm going to tell you why. You cannot get even 2 pieces of pressure treated 2x6 in good condition. The guy was very helpful at Home Depot. He cut these down for me exactly 48 inches, which is what I want because it's going to be used for the legs. All right, but you see the bark end here? That's not a problem if you're using it this way, but the grain is going the opposite direction, as you can see. But these are going to be the legs, so it does not matter. But I cannot get pressure treated 2x6 that is like this. 3/4, if not more, of the pressure treated that Home Depot has over there has bark ends and stuff like that. So you can't use it for the top of the picnic table. So I'm going to have to go with Douglas fir, which is not pressure treated, but the wood is like this. It's all nice. And that's what I had to do on my deck. When I built this deck, everything's pressure treated except this. You cannot get nice, even, smooth pieces of wood in 2x6 pressure treated. And when I built this deck, I think I needed like 31 pieces or something like that. So the decking is not pressure treated. So to my surprise, it's only like maybe 20 cents difference in price between a pressure treated 2x6 8-footer versus a non-pressure treated Douglas fir 8-foot 2x6. There isn't much difference in price. So I'm going to put back the same type of wood. In here, you can see on the inside. You see how it is down here? Alright. I thought I had it made because I said, hey, it looks good over here. That's fine, but it's not good over here. Now, as I told you before, if you've been following my videos, I put this in 1985. I put this in 1985. But this came on the original picnic table. So that's why I got those short 2x4s I showed you. They're going to go in here. But first, the legs have got to go in. They've got to be angled at whatever angle this is. And that'll determine, and the angle will be, so I got to flip this whole thing over and do it that way. Right here, you know, of course they'll go in more. There's two of them, one on each, sandwiched in between the leg. This is a 2x4, of course, but this just gives you an idea. So it's sandwiched in other words, like this, like it originally was. Hey, that's how it's going to be. That's how the original table was made, so we're just doing it the same way. So once I get all that on and I get the angle and the length of the leg that I need, let's see if I'm in camera here, then I can turn this, you know, on its legs, and then I'll be able to put the top on. So I'm going to leave this on and this on for support, because it's got to, you know, this is all fastened together here and here. Now on this piece here, it's pretty good. It's not pressure treated, and I was going to take it out, but it's secured so firmly into here, which is pressure treated, and I checked it thoroughly. It looks bad, but I just sprayed WD-40 in here and WD-40 here. I want to soak some oil into it. This is not pressure treated. It's part of the original. I was going to take it out, but this thing is going to last at least another 10 years, and when it gets bad, I'll take it out. Okay, I got it where I want to be able to get the angles properly and everything. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a straight edge in the bottom, and mark off the angle. Or maybe I'll just, actually I can probably figure the angle right from here. Like I say, I'll just put a small piece of wood in here. I'll take a scrap piece of 2x6, and the reason I say 2x6 is it'll give me enough length. If I put a 2x4 in here, I might have a little error in the angle. Oh, I got a scrap piece of 2x6, and I'll lay it in here tight against this, and then scribe a line on here, cut that piece, and that'll be my template for my angles. Because whatever this angle is here versus this straight edge here, this will be like the bottom, you know, so when your leg comes out, it's going to be the same angle. That's how I do it. I don't know, I'm not like these carpenters that, the framers, they can just take and draw angles with the square and everything else and come right out. And when I try to do that, it screws up. So I do it where I know I got the angle here, and that's it. It's got to come out right. So whatever this angle is here is going to be the same on the top of the picnic table as it is on the bottom. Okay, here's a piece I took off the side, part of the original leg, and the angle's already cut for me. So this handheld non-tripod use. I should practice what I preach. But there it is. There's the angle that I need. So I'll simply use this as a template on my 2x6. So at each end, I just have to make sure I don't reverse it. I'm not positive now because I usually screw up, and once you cut this to length and you screw up, then I got to take the whole thing out and buy another piece, and that I don't want to do. So this is going to be my template because I can't figure angles. I never could. I can with the chop saw. That's not a problem because it's got a gauge on it. That's not a problem at all. But I always take and hold a piece of wood onto the side of something. Like when I built my shed, I just hold the wood up against something else and then draw it a straight line, and then whatever that angle is, I cut it. So I'm not sure what this angle is. I'm not even going to worry about the degrees. All I know is as long as it comes out properly, that's all I care about. Once I cut the 2x6 on one end, I can lay it down, and I'll put a piece of wood across here to get my angle. In other words, to replace the top, I'll just put I'll just lay a board across there or something, so that when this comes out in here, it should be the same angle. This is the bottom of the old leg, of course. So whatever angle that is, that's what I'll cut these at. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the line from this. I'm going to cut this and do nothing else with the other end because I have to cut the length, and I'm not sure. I should have wrote down how long the legs were, and now I got to guess. I'm going to lay it into place, see if it mates properly to the bottom of the top part, and we can determine that by just laying a 2x4 like that on there, and then when I put this piece in, it'll sit on top of that, and it'll be flush. Of course, naturally be sitting 1.5 inches off the surface because we're looking at the bottom of the table now, but this is only used for measuring because I had to take out a lot of rotten wood off the top, so I need some kind of a reference point there, if you know what I mean. So whatever the length is of the legs, and the problem with me is I rush sometimes and I don't write everything down. Okay, I'm using the Tradesman, I believe it is, the $10 one, and we're going to do our angles on that. Now, in order to establish the angle, all I got to do is just drop it in here and adjust this. Doesn't matter whether they cut it this way or this way. Let's pull this out a little bit so we can get the knob turning here. Make sure that you're still in camera view here. Like it's under 30. It's like 20. Can't read the divisions here. It don't matter as long as I got it locked down. That's the angle at which it's going to cut. The blade is flush up against here. So that's the angle at which we got to cut our wood. Okay, we're ready to go. Put something tight against it. tight against the fence. Locked up at this end. Cut all the way down. Why didn't that cut all the way down? I adjusted this saw. It should cut all the way down. Okay, alright, that's not a problem. We only got a little piece here to cut off. We used the hand saw. That's because of the angle. The blade is only so long. That's not a problem. Alright, we'll trim that. We'll trim that piece off. Right here. There's your angle. That could be used as a template if necessary. Okay, now let's go over to the table and see how that fits. So we got an uneven top here anyway, so yeah, I would say. Now what I gotta do, I gotta establish how long these legs are gonna be before I can cut the other angle. I would like to be able to do it on the chop saw. I wouldn't want to have to take a skill saw and just go and all four legs. It's not going to be as accurate handheld, but I need to know the length of the legs, and that is a little bit of a problem because stupid goat didn't write down how long the old legs were. Alright, I got it clamped in. I got the angle down. I dropped a piece of 2x4 down on here. I dropped one on the deck so it's flush out here. Okay, this angle is good. This angle's good. Now, I got some carriage bolts, galvanized, that I picked up yesterday. And all I got to do is drill through and bolt this in place. But what I need to do is to find out how long these legs are going to be. Temporarily, I'm going to put in the two lag bolts because we got the angle where we want it. I'm not going to tighten it up. We just snug it up. We're not going to sock it down real tight. We'll get the wrench out afterwards. And we use a Harbor Freight drill, which ain't much good for this type of drilling. The hole is already in the pressure treated. I just got to match it with the, make a hole into this. And we got our angle. We just want to make sure we didn't move. Right on. Get the sawdust out, otherwise, if you don't, the drill won't do the job. But the battery's down as usual. I got another one I could stick on here, but I just want to get this into place here, and then I got to do something about the angle here as far as the length. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I guess I could measure from the bottom of the bench 14 inches. I don't know what the normal chair height is. From here, from the top, which is now the bottom because it's upside down, from here up to here, and then cut it. Yeah, That's a good old Harbor Freight. I've got no... Now we get another battery in there. Alright. Hopefully I charge this one. Oh man, I hate these chucks. How tight you... No matter how tight you make them. Harbor Freight, you can hold back the damn drill just about. Okay, we'll get another lag bolt in there. That way we don't have any turning action here. I'm going to snug this up with a wrench. I'll do that off camera. So I can relieve this clamp of its duties. Okay, as you can see, better angle here. I just laid a piece of 2x4 to bring up the height here. So my 2x6 sits on the top properly, and we only need 2, and we'll do the same on this side. Now I got a disappointment here. This wasn't too bad, so I put WD-40 in here, but as this was turned, I was looking at that side. That don't look bad, but obviously I'm gonna have to change this damn thing too, so I gotta go out and buy another pressure treated 2x6, which is originally what I was gonna do anyways, but I thought maybe I can use this, but I can't. Now that's gonna be a challenge because that holds everything together and lined up. So I'm between a rock and a hard place here now. I take this off, all my spacing's going to be gone here. And it's going to be a pain in the ass. But I'm going to have to get a... This I think is 53 inches long as I recall. So I'll get an 8-footer. Have them cut it at 53. Or is it 63? I don't know. Mine is like a sieve when it comes to numbers. Okay, so anyways, regardless, whatever length this is, it'll be, another one will be in. And then everything on this thing will be pressure treated except the top and these angle pieces. Okay, I just got back from Home Depot. Had to take the minivan and pick up a 63-inch piece to replace this here. And I lucked out today. I got an 8-foot or 10-foot, I think it's 10-foot, 2x8 pressure treated on the cull rack, C-U-L, for $1 plus tax. So I had them cut at 63 inches. Put it in the minivan and brought it home, and so that'll replace this here. Now over here you can see what I've done here off camera. I got the two 2x4s side by side sandwiched in between. The legs are sandwiched in there with Torx decking screws and the lag bolts up here. And what I did here is I banged out the nails out of this old wood. I got to pull them out when I pull this, I'd flip this thing over. So I put the decking screws in here on this side, so I used 2.5 inch going this way and 2.5 on the other side going in this way, and then the lag bolts right here. It took me a while to figure what the most comfortable height would be. So 18 inches, 17.5 to 18 inches from the bottom of the leg to the top of the bench. The kitchen chairs are 18 inches from the floor to the top of the seat. So I based it on that, 18 inches. So now what I got to do is to get rid of this here, and I'm going to set you up on a tripod, and I might have to speed this video up because this is very, very long, and I don't know how many parts. I don't even know if we're into the second part or whatever part we're in. I'm just going to go ahead and make the video. So I'm going to set you up on a tripod, and what I have to do here, this is pressure treated, this is nailed to this, and so is this. The best thing to do would be to support this to the top. I can screw into that because that wood's going to go anyways, and somehow block this up or put a piece of wood from here down to support this, because when I remove all this here, I don't want this thing dropping down and getting out of alignment, because from here to here is 10.5 inches. So I'm going to set you up on a tripod, and we'll get started. I got the legs already cut. These are the 2 legs for this side here. I hillbilly goated a little rig here. Just threw in a couple of screws which I can reuse again, and some scrap wood to support this here. Okay, so that'll keep it all even, because I got to take all this out and I got to cut this away. And what I'm going to do is to literally cut it off, and I could probably use my handsaw on it. Temporarily I'm going to nail a piece here because I got to get rid of this wood anyways, and put a piece down to the ground. Find a scrap piece of wood to do that. So I want to support that whole thing right there. Okay, I just got to clean off this memory card on this camera here. So I don't know if that came out or not, but what I did is I temporarily rigged up this here to keep the weight off and keep this even, so that I can take this out. And I want to put a temporary support from here down to here, because I can nail it right in there, because this is going anyways. And then I'm going to cut this here and cut it here so I can get this off of this 2x6 here. And this is already supported here. So I got to keep this distance, as you can see, 10.5 inches. So we'll do all that, and we'll come back in a minute here. I got to go change Kodaks here.